Hello everybody, Shelly here. I got in the new Natasha Denona Glam palette, and I got it in days ago, and it's been sitting on my desk because things have been gotten busy. My husband really thought that the packaging was pretty cool. The same size of palette, the $65 palette, different colors, but the same component. That's what the palette looks like. If you weren't aware, if you haven't seen it, I'm super excited to even play with this because cool tones. I love, love, love cool tones, especially for whatever reason on my coloring, brown eyes, brown hair. It just seems like it really works well. And I like the fact that she gives us a couple of these warmer sort of pops of gold. Couple things about this palette, if you are not already aware. She puts holes on the back. You could poke a pin through and push the pan out if you don't like how they're arranged. She actually even gives you some examples on, I think on her website, or maybe on her Instagram, of how you could rearrange these depending on what kind of skin tone you have. Anyway, the cool thing about this palette is it takes the guesswork out. So, and of course I've got these upside down because I've got a mirror in here and I didn't want to blind you with the ring light. But the palette's names are, the shade names: center eyelid, outer eyelid, inner corner, crease, transition. We've got smoke blend lash line, another inner corner, center eyelid, outer eyelid, center eyelid, outer eyelid, and brow bone. You don't have to follow the rules, right? Because it's just eyeshadow. You can kind of do it as you want, but I am curious to see how it would be if I use the Natasha Denona way of doing eyeshadow. So I'm gonna try to play with some of these. I have not even swatched these yet. So aside from seeing a few videos, my hair's a little crazy. I can't tell if I'm a little washed out. I might be. I think that may have made me a little less washed out. Sometimes I struggle with this camera because it autofocus and auto adjusts. So sometimes it focuses on the palettes behind me. Sometimes they'll focus on me. So we're gonna try with the whole, let's focus right here, and let's play with some colors. If I use her instructions, she only has one kind of crease and one transition. And I feel like this is a transition is gonna be too light, but we're gonna try it anyway. So you guys, there has been, I have the Anastasia Beverly Hills eyelid primer on. Okay, so this is kind of a part-time side gig for me right now, right? Like I'm not monetized. There's no commercials. I don't get anything in PR, but I really enjoy doing it. So I do it when I have time. Does that make sense? Anyway, my real job has been very, very busy lately, which is good. We're getting to the end of a fiscal quarter, so it's kind of a dash, you know, it just all hands on deck. When I get a chance to film, sometimes I film and I'll try to film like 2 or 3 things right to back, and then edit when I can, and then I schedule out. So like right now when I'm filming this, I have all of next week's, I have tomorrow's video out, and I have all of next week's video already scheduled. So I'm at least a week and a half behind right now. And sometimes I edit what I've already filmed. Like I think I have like 5 videos that are filmed that just need to be edited. So sometimes I have that going on. Point is, if I get something that's a new release like this, I might bump it up. But I already have like the next 4 videos scheduled. So I'll either go up on a weekend, which I've done the last couple weekends, or I'll just put it in the queue for the next time, which I think is what's gonna happen with this, where I'm going at with this story. Sometimes I say things and then I go back and listen to them when I go to edit it, and it's way past time. And sometimes I leave it in there, sometimes I don't. I think I listened to the one that I had posted yesterday, and it was talking about storms. Well, we haven't heard about storms in a while because everybody's focused on fires. We have a ton of fires. We have a ton of smoke going on right now. My throat, I woke up with a sorest throat. I've got that like sinus thing going on here because of the fires. Anyway, and I've been talking all day. Here I am talking some more. Okay, you guys, that transition shade, it's not bad. You know, I expected this to be a cool palette. That is a cool transition shade. It's too light as a shadow for me. We're gonna go into the next kind of taupe over called Crease. And this is probably a little bit bigger brush than I need for a crease, but for this look, we're gonna follow some instructions, and then I think the next look we're just gonna play. Both these shadows are very matte, which is what I would do in a transition or a crease shade anyway. So I'm not upset about that. They are very cool toned, which is kind of what I expected. And these 2 shadows so far are kind of reminding me of that Jeffree Star Cremated palette, which, truth be told, I didn't mind the palette. I'm not buying the nudes palette. I'm just not going to. I have enough nudes in lots of different other brands. I don't need that one. Oh, you guys, I can smell the smoke in my hair. And I should have washed my hair today, but I didn't. Okay, you guys, there's been a bunch of new releases and I'm not staying up on all of them, but I did pick up a pumpkin spice palette. And I picked up another palette from Morphe, a smaller one, but I don't think it's new. I think it's an 18 pan shade, and I didn't see it as a new release. I had never seen it before, which I don't know all the palettes, but I picked up that too because I think it's a good kind of like fall looking color palette. I'm thinking about doing a video. You guys have to tell me what you think. I thought about doing a video of just like fall eye looks and just picking palettes that I think make the best fall eye looks and do a look with each of the color stories. I don't know if that makes any sense or if that's something you guys would be interested. I think I expected a harder time blending them out, and I didn't have that much of a problem. I don't know that I would call it a perfect blend, but I am going to, you know, layer other colors on top of it, so I'm not that particular worried. I just kind of wanted to see how they would perform because, I mean, it's a high-end palette, right? I am gonna take the shade Outer Eyelid, which is this one right here. And because it seems to be more of a shimmery, metallic-y color, I'm just gonna use my finger. And we're gonna press it into the outer from the lash line up until where we've got that crease. Pretty color. Okay, that went on very subtle. I don't mind it at all. Now we're gonna take, we're just gonna go down this row. We're gonna take Inner Corner is the next shade on this row. And again with my finger, and we'll just press it into the eyelid. And so I'm doing like the inner tear duct as well as just the first, I don't know, maybe third. So you guys, the whole purpose of videos like this is so that we can determine if a palette is going to give us several looks that we would leave the house in, not embarrass our family. If we're not makeup artists and we want to know, can we get multiple looks out of the same palette? And is it going to work in our lifestyle? That's kind of what we go for here. So far, so good. I am going to go into the center eyelid is the last one down here. And we're going to put that in the center of the eyelid. And I'm basically just kind of bumping it up over the top of the colors that we already laid down, just kind of on the curve of my eyeball. This shade has a lot more of a pink kind of undertone to it. I don't mind it, but I don't know that I would have necessarily chosen it with that particular crease and everything else color. But it's fine. Okay, I need to find, this is the brush I used with for the crease shade before. So I'm just gonna dip that back in just a little bit and kind of go right over the top of those shimmers that we laid down, just to make sure that they're kind of blended and there's no like hard start and stop. Then I'm gonna take a little bit more and kind of drag it down below. That's that same crease shade. Everything that I've put on so far seems very light. Got a little angle brush. I'm going to go into the shade called Lash Line, which is in the middle of the palette. We're going to put a little bit of it up here. And then a little bit down below too. So far so good. I'm going to take the shade Center Eyelid and I'm just going to kind of mirror it down below my lower lash line and just see if I can't soften up that line just a little bit in the center. I don't need any harsh lines, right? I'm going to put on some mascara. I'll be right back. My thoughts on this palette. Is this a look that I could see doing every day? Sure. It's maybe one or two more shades that I don't really need, and I probably wouldn't have, you know, dipped in had I just been doing an everyday kind of, you need to leave to get out the door. But did it actually create a look that I thought was an everyday look? Yeah. I could see actually wearing maybe even this eyeshadow to work. I think I could actually wear it with glasses. Like, there isn't anything so overpowering that I think it would compete with a dark, heavy frame. So first one down, you know, it's perfectly fine. I don't know that I'm blown away, but I think it's completely complimentary and it's perfectly fine. So I'm gonna take this off. Let's come back with something not quite painting by the numbers. Let's try something just a little bit more creative. And we're gonna go in with this second shade over here, which kind of looks like it's a little bit more of like a dusty rose kind of color. It's called Blend, but I'm gonna use it as a kind of the beginning of a crease. And we'll go up from there. I did use more of that Anastasia Beverly Hills eyelid primer. Does it have a name on it? It just says eye primer. You know what? I'm not upset when companies like name things what they are. I know it seems like sort of unoriginal, but if I look at a company name or look at a product and I can't identify what it is, I feel dumb. I'm glad when things are just like, hey, this is what this is. Great. Sometimes I try things and I'm just like, I don't know where this is supposed to go, but, or what it's supposed to do. I'm gonna actually drag this all the way in down here. I normally don't do any kind of like a halo look because I don't want to bring my eyelids closer together if I don't have to. But I feel like this might be a look that needs a little bit more. So my son has been doing the online classes for school. It's been going perfectly fine. I don't think he likes to get up early in the morning, but he's been doing it. And he's up and dressed with his coffee in front of him when he logs on. This shade right here, which is called Smoke, is I'm gonna actually use that on my, right above my outer lashes. And then we might bring it up a little bit here too to get some drama. Anyway, so my son has been, you know, getting up and doing his classes and getting his homework done and checking his grades. And I think he's bored. I'm waiting for the time where he asks if several friends can all come over and do their classes together at the same time, because I really do think he misses his friends. And he's been occasionally, you know, seeing them trying to wear masks and be socially distant, but you know, it just kills him. He wants to be with his friends, and I don't blame him. Barely tapping into that smoke shadow did give me a lot of pigmentation. I would call it the warmest tone brown in here, but that's not saying much because this is not a warm tone palette. I think this is the complement to the bronze palette. Like if your coloring supports all those, you know, kind of orange rust bronzier colors, then fantastic, you already have yours. If your preference is more on the cool toned, man, this is the compliment to it, right? This palette I can see getting a lot of use out of, because frankly, it's a lot more portable in size than say like that pre-mated palette. What makes a palette more glam? What's more glamorous, right? I mean, when I guess when I think of glam makeup, I always think of like a bright red lip and a black wing liner. Like that always seems very, I don't know, 1950s Hollywood movie star or Gwen Stefani. So I feel like we're kind of smoking out this eyeshadow now, and it's getting to be a little darker, but it does seem to be blending, and I actually can see the gradients and colors, which is nice. I'm gonna go in with this down here. It is called Outer Eye, but I'm gonna use kind of a flat brush this time, and I wanna pack it on kind of a little bit on top of, a little bit more closer to the center. On top of that, the outer color that we did. Okay, that's actually really pretty. You know what, I'm gonna go with the whole lid with that. I think I was expecting it to be more kind of a foily color, and instead what I'm getting is just this beautiful satiny looking color. I really like that color. This is just that kind of shimmery browny bronzy color in the bottom row. I'm really liking that color. That's one of those shades that I could see doing that shade and maybe a lighter color and just being like two shadows and super easy. Maybe this isn't coming across as so metallic-y because I'm using a brush. I mean, that's entirely possible. I'm gonna layer some other colors on here. I'm gonna take this one right here, this kind of gold in the corner called Center Eyelid, and I'm gonna place that from the inner corner just right up against my lash line and drag it into the center just a little bit. And it being a gold is going to warm up this, but it's a really pretty gold. Okay, I think that gave me exactly what I needed. And I actually do think it's layering over that other shade very, very nicely. I know she has shades in here that are toppers, but I haven't ran across one yet. These all feel like eyeshadow shades to me. Smooth that out a little bit here. I think I'm gonna use this one called Brow Bone, but I'm gonna put it on my tear duct. I think that was one of the complaints that people had about the bronze palette, is there just really wasn't a true like lighter inner corner like tear duct shadow. And I know that she showed us how to do it with other colors, and I'm forever grateful that she actually, you know, took the time to do that. That's, I think, one of the things that I heard about. I heard complaints from people is they just really weren't quite sure what to do. When you got the face palette too, it just made it a little bit easier to get some of those things that you maybe didn't get in the eyeshadow palette. And I like standalone eyeshadow palettes. I have palettes that you can't wear just by themselves. You have to have other palettes to mix in with them to kind of blend them out and to make something more useful, in my opinion, especially when we're talking ladies of a certain age. So I'm going to take my flat angled brush again into lash line here in the middle. I like this very neutral, soft look. And I'm thinking that when she says glam, I think she's thinking maybe not tacky. I think I'm going to take this bottom row shade here called Outer Eyelid. And I need a different brush. I'm going to use this one. I'm just going to take that and smudge it against my whole lower lash line, even over the top of that black that I just laid down, and right up against that shimmer that I put down at first. You guys, I'm not upset by this palette at all. I probably have now put on too many colors and too much effort into it. I gotta be honest, this is my first time playing with the palette, and I don't know about you guys, but sometimes when I play with the palette for the first time, I get a little overzealous and try a couple different things. So I'm gonna put on maybe a touch of eyeliner, haven't decided yet, and some mascara, and I'll be right back. Second look, and I like this palette a lot. I feel like I need to keep going here. I'm gonna put a little more blush on, because now all of a sudden I'm feeling like, hey, might as well just like finish playing here. And again, I just have that Charlotte Tilbury Love Glow. Now, I could have used one of my other like Natasha Denona face palettes, blush palettes, because I've got a couple of them, but I felt like the colors were too warm, and this pink gave me a little bit more of a cooler toned for blush. And since we're doing a cool eye look, might as well do a cool blush look too, right? Kind of keep things all in the same family. Sorry, my hair is a little, I need to wash it. I need to wash the smoke out of it. I have absolutely nothing bad to say about this palette. I don't know that I'm adding anything of value either, to truth be told. If you're a minimalist and you like to stay in the same color story, like grays, taupes, cool tone neutrals, but this is your jam then. I mean, you can get a lot of use out of this. I think you can get a lot of looks out of this palette because you have so many different options. I think because you've got really 4 different mattes, those give you your good like transition shades. And then you have a lot of shimmers, and some of them seem to work really well blended over the top of your mattes, blended in together to create a different look. I think that you could easily do a matte and a shimmer and be out the door. This is an easy palette, and it's one that you can go a little bit more. So like this, I have far too much, I think, probably underneath my eyes, how I would normally wear makeup. It's a smoky look, but the colors are great, and I don't regret getting this palette at all. I have zero buyer's remorse. I think I'm gonna actually get a lot of use out of it. And I think this is a palette that could be an everyday go-to palette for me, because the majority of what I'm gonna wear is probably along these tones. Is it a fall palette? I don't know. It seems like it's an everyday palette to me. I think this is a seasonless palette. There, I said it. Okay, you guys, I get nothing in PR. I'm not sponsored, I'm not affiliated, I'm not a professional makeup artist, but I'm on a journey. And when I hit 250 subscribers, I'm gonna do a giveaway. So if you guys are interested in free products or goodies or whatever else, and you wanna kind of be in on that, please subscribe. Share this or really any of the other videos with ladies of a certain age, and let's see if we can't get me to 250. Every one of you guys matters, and I really do appreciate you guys hanging out and chit-chatting with me. Feel free to leave me a comment down below. Tell me, is this a palette that was on your radar? Are you gonna get this? Are you gonna pass on it? Are the cool tones not really your thing? Do you find yourself gravitating more towards pinks or the warmer bronzy orangey colors or something else? And if you would be interested, follow me over on Instagram at Sheli Tsunami. It's just playing. It's just fun. It's just something to get our mind off stuff for a little while. That's why I do it. And I hope you guys keep coming back around, because it offers you some sense of normalcy. I've been trying to be very, very consistent through this whole shutdown, lockdown, self-isolation, everything else, back to school, not going to school, jobs, people not working. I've tried to be very consistent in the content that I'm putting out there for you guys, and I hope you guys, I don't know, like that, stick around, and that we become friends. With that, I'm gonna get out of your hair and maybe go wash my hair, because that needs to happen to get the smoke out of it. Yeah, it's not it's not good. Okay, you guys, I hope you guys are doing super well, and until my next video, bye for now.